What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to go over 7 things you're going to want to know about the Oregon coast before or after you move here, and we're going to get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad of living on the Oregon coast, then subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to learn about the current market on the coast. My name is Eddie, and I get calls, emails, texts every single day from people just like you looking to know more about the coast and wanting to move to the coast. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 9 months, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email so I can be your boots on the ground to help you reach your real estate goals on the Oregon coast. Well, today we are going to go over the 7 things that you're going to want to know about the Oregon coast before you move here, and we're going to go. Let's go. First of all, where is the Oregon coast? It's 363 miles of coastline spreading from Astoria, Oregon on the north, through Seaside, through Tillamook, through Newport, through Coos Bay, all the way down through Brookings, just south, and it's meeting right around Smith River and Crescent City, California on the Oregon-California border. Like I said, 363 miles. It spreads around headlands, bays, estuaries, rivers, beaches, all different types of landscapes along the Oregon coast. And on this channel, we go over all of the nuances of the Oregon coast. We've got the northern Oregon coast that spans from roughly Astoria to Pacific City or Tillamook. We've got the central Oregon coast that spans roughly from Lincoln City down to Yachats. And we've got the southern Oregon coast that spans from Florence all the way down to the California border. Those are your 3 regions of the Oregon coast, and there's different types of towns and cities along that coastline. Check the channel, look for different towns, different regions, different areas to learn about different cities on the coast. We're going to talk about some of them today, but just the locations and where we're at. When you want to fly in from anywhere in the world, you're normally going to fly into the Portland International Airport in northeastern Portland, or you're going to fly into Eugene or Medford. Those are pretty much the 3 places that you're going to fly in, and then you're going to have to make the hour to 2-hour drive from the Willamette Valley or the Rogue Valley in Medford's case and drive over to the coast from there. How long that's going to take depends on which town you're going to and where you're coming from. We'll go over all those, but roughly, if you're on the northern Oregon coast, you're probably going to fly into the Portland International Airport, PDX, and you're going to take roughly an hour 15 to hour and a half drive. Northern Oregon coastal towns of Astoria, Seaside, Cannon Beach, Manzanita, and the like. If you're going to the central Oregon coast, you can split it. You can go PDX or you can go the Eugene Airport. It's going to roughly take you from PDX about 2 to 2.5 hours, from Eugene about an hour and a half. And then when you get to the southern Oregon coast, you go Eugene, or you can go, Crescent City, or you can go Medford. Those are the 3 options of getting to the Oregon coast, or you can come by boat. I don't know too many people that do come by boat. If they do, that's awesome. I don't have those timelines with me now. But that's roughly where the Oregon coast is and how long it's going to take you to get there. When it takes driving, whatever town you want to be at on the Oregon coast, whether, if it's Astoria, you just go directly east. It's a roughly 45 to an hour drive, 45 to 60-minute drive from the Willamette Valley. That's the I-5 corridor over to the coast. So Tillamook, about an hour from Portland. Walport, roughly an hour from Corvallis, Albany. Newport, roughly an hour 45 minutes from Corvallis, Albany. Now, when you get to the southern Oregon coast, it gets a little bit longer. So when you're going to Coos Bay, North Bend, Coquille, Bandon, say you're coming from Roseburg, it's going to take you about an hour and a half. If you're coming from Eugene, it's going to take you a couple hours. If you are in the Medford, Grants Pass area, that's the one that's going to take a little bit longer because that road is really windy, that goes through Grants Pass, goes through Cave Junction, and then comes out Crescent Valley, Smith River area in California, and then you have to drive back up. It's going to take you about 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on if you're coming from Grants Pass or the Medford area. So that's where it's at. That's where it's located. That's how long it takes to get there. It is amazing once you get there. And we're going to go over some of the other things right now. Number 2 on our list is healthcare. Where are you going to get your healthcare on the Oregon coast? Is there healthcare on the Oregon coast? Is there a hospital on the Oregon coast? Of course there is. Along the Oregon coast, there's a ton of great hospitals, and I have a video that went over all the best healthcare options on the Oregon coast. Obviously, the larger cities are going to have the best healthcare options. Other than Gold Beach is a small Oregon coastal community. It's a small town, and it's got Curry General Hospital, great place. But if we go south to north, Brookings has a hospital, has emergency care. Gold Beach has Curry General Hospital, one of the best hospitals in Curry County. Keep going north. Port Orford has a small clinic. Bandon has a small branch of a hospital there. It's a very good one. Coos Bay, North Bend, obviously they have a huge hospital, one of the better ones on the Oregon coast. Reedsport has a small hospital. Florence has a hospital. Walport has a small clinic. Newport has a large brand new hospital. Lincoln City has a large brand new hospital. Tillamook has a hospital. All of the other towns up through Seaside normally have small clinics, but not really much when it comes to hospitals. Those are the ones that you're about 30 to 45 minutes from the closest large hospital when you're there. Cannon Beach, just south of Seaside, has a small clinic. Seaside and Warrenton, Astoria hospitals. Okay, so those are all the healthcare options. Now, if you're going to go and you need to get more specialized care, maybe surgical care, maybe different types of rehabilitation care, some of those towns have it, but you're going to probably want to go to the more inland I-5 corridor towns, Grants Pass, Medford, Roseburg, Eugene, Corvallis, Albany, Salem, all the way up to Portland. Those are going to probably be where the larger healthcare establishments and institutions are that you're going to want to go to. So when you're thinking about which coastal town in proximity, I would say the best options really when it comes to overall access is going to be your central Walport, Newport, Lincoln City to your northern Seaside, Warrenton, Astoria areas, because they have great hospitals there within, and I'm talking new state-of-the-art hospitals, but also they're close to and a quick drive to the Willamette Valley. So if you're saying Newport, you've got a great hospital in Newport, but let's say you need to go to better care in the valley, it's 45 minutes to Corvallis. It's not very far from Portland. Whereas if you're on the southern Oregon coast, they have those local hospitals that are large. But if those aren't good enough, you're going to be in a 2.5 to 3 hour drive to get to the larger hospitals, maybe in Medford, Grants Pass areas. So that's that for healthcare. Number 3 is schools. Your family, you are going to be putting your kids into schools. There's great small school options on the Oregon coast. How Oregon is split up when it comes to schools, you've got 1A through 6A. 1A is obviously your small schools from 0 to 80 to 100 students. 2A is going to be 100 to 220 students. 3A is 220 to 400. 400 up to about 700 is your 4A schools. And then there's no schools bigger than that on the Oregon coast. So when we think about the bigger towns, we think about Astoria, Seaside, Tillamook, Newport, North Bend, Coos Bay, which is Marshfield, Coos Bay, Marshfield. Those are going to be your 4A schools. So those are the coastal 4As. They're not all in the same league when it comes to sports, but they're all the bigger schools. They're going to obviously offer. Now, just because it's a bigger school doesn't mean that it's going to be a better school. I know a lot of small schools that are going to have great options. It's got smaller community feels. There's going to be a little bit more control in those smaller schools for parents to, have their say and be able to volunteer, do different things in those schools. So those are the big schools. You're talking 3A schools, a little bit smaller. You've got the Warrentons. You've got Neocani, which is in Rockaway Beach. You've got Taft, which is in Lincoln City. Florence, that's Siuslaw High School. Going down Coquille, which is just outside of Coos Bay, and then Brookings Harbor, which is obviously Brookings High School. Those are all 3As. Those are going to be a little bit smaller than your larger schools on the Oregon coast, but it kind of just mirrors the population sizes of those regions. The smaller schools, 2As, this is really a sweet spot when it comes to education. Really a lot of opportunity to get involved and make your imprint on the school if you want to do that. Some people like to be involved in their schooling of their children. or just maybe you're older and you want to volunteer, these places are going to have a lot of options for that. There's a lot of needs for, you know, teachers that maybe retired teachers that want to sub for a couple days, be involved, maybe get an extra little paycheck there, or maybe you just want to be involved as a parent and you want to be around. The smaller schools you're going to be where Astoria is Napa High School. Keep going down. You got Toledo just outside of Newport. You got Walport just south of Newport. Reedsport is a 2A. And you just go down. I think Gold Beach is a 2A and Bandon's a 2A. So those are all, you can kind of get a sense of size. There are some 1As in there. I'm not going to go through them all, but it's just going to be basically great education in different spheres. There's going to be some bad too. So it's not all great. It's obviously not going to be, a very prestigious private school. There really aren't very many private schools. There aren't very many Christian schools along the Oregon coast. So let's say you wanted to be a part of a Christian school. I only know of a couple along the Oregon coast. There's one in Newport, South Beach Christian School. There's one in Coos Bay, Riverview Christian School. Those are new Christian schools. There's a lot of them on the I-5 corridor. So if you want some other option, a private school option, there's not a lot of private schools on the Oregon coast. There's only a couple towns that have, private Christian schools. So depending on what you want to do, those things, just want to make sure that you know what your options are as a young family. There are a lot of homeschool co-ops I've heard of around the Oregon coast, but those are just different options, whether you're looking at your family looking at public schools or private schools or what options there are. Those are really all of them along the Oregon coast from Astoria down to Brookings. Next on our list, number 4, is tourism. When you're thinking about the Oregon coast, you've got to consider what's your governor, what's your allowance for disturbances of your everyday life. And tourism is going to be one of those things that you got to consider, because along the Oregon coast from about May through, I'd say, October, and then little stints along, spring break, maybe Christmas break, you're going to have these floods of people coming on the Oregon coast. And then if it's really nice, really sunny day, if everybody expected there's going to be a flood of people coming to the coast from the Willamette Valley or what have you. So when you think about tourism, just think everything's going to take longer to get to. There's going to be a longer wait to get into the restaurants. You're going to have a longer wait in stores, at the clerk, in the line there at the grocery store. Everything's going to just take longer. Gas stations, there's going to be a longer line. Traffic is a big one. I have to say this in a lot of my videos. Just know the back roads of whatever town you're going to move to. I would say right when you get there, just start working. Don't go through the main road. Go through the back roads and just, get lost a little bit. These towns aren't big, but when you know the back roads of all the towns, most of the towns along the Oregon coast, I know most of the back roads because I know how it goes. It's like, man, if I'm driving around in June or July or August, I better know my way around this town so I can get somewhere I need to get a little bit quicker. So those are just big things that you're going to want to think about when you're going. So Southern Oregon coastal towns, not quite as much tourism. Obviously there will be tourism, but it's just a more isolated area on the Oregon coast, the Southern Oregon coast, but better weather, right? Which we'll get to. But when you get to the Northern Oregon coast, you're talking all of these people from the Willamette Valley coming on the Oregon coast. There's a lot of people that drive the entire Oregon coast, 363 miles. They want to see all that there is to see along the Oregon coast. Hotels are full. Airbnbs are full. You got family coming. They might not be able to get a spot. So you just got to prepare. Just know that tourism is going to pack everything out. Beaches will be more full. Restaurants, roads, and the like. Full. Be prepared. May through October. That's going to be the season when you're going to see a lot of tourism. It slows down after the first part of September, and then that's about it. Tourism, definitely something you're going to want to think about. Number 5, jobs and economy. The larger areas are obviously going to be where more of the jobs are. There has been an influx of different types of jobs on the Oregon coast, whether those are, you got to think there's private enterprise, there's the public sector, you've got government jobs, all the rest. What are the major employers? Well, you've got the fishing industry, you've got the timber industry, which is down. You've got the government jobs. So whether those are, state, county, and then local municipalities. That could be police. It could be just regular government jobs, in the county, different things, county, town, state jobs on the coast. Those are the big jobs, state parks. Also school districts obviously are major employers along the Oregon coast. And then obviously your service industry jobs. So service industry are going to be seasonal. So when you're thinking about moving to the Oregon coast, you've got a lot of jobs, that are around. Your trades are big ones. I mean, if you're a tradesman on the Oregon coast and you pick up your phone, you're going to get work pretty quickly. I know a lot of people that, there's a lot of tradesmen. There's a lot of general contractors. There's a lot of, what is lacking is probably plumbers, electricians, linemen, different things that are needed, general contractors that are affordable, that answer their phone and they get back to people quickly. There's a lot of people that, they are way behind in their scheduling. And if you answer your phone and you give a competitive bid, you're going to get a lot of work if you're a tradesman or a general contractor. If you're looking for jobs, whether it's county, state, or any other type of government job, you just check I'd go through whatever town or area you're looking for. Those jobs, I mean, there's always a need. You look on those websites, there's always going to be job openings, whether you're looking at, like I said, any of the government jobs, any of the school district jobs along the coast. Why? Because it's kind of the Oregon coast. You've got people that are coasties. That's what we call people that live on the coast, are going to be on the coast. That's just where they're going to be. And then there's more transit people that come in. They don't understand what it's like to be on the coast, because it is hard. It is a lot harder, just because I'd say the weather, it can be a little bit depressing at times, with the weather and the slowdown and the bog down of everything. And a lot of times you're inside. A lot of the coastal communities aren't great when it comes to creating an outdoor environment. So even when it is nice, there's not really places to go and do things. And a lot of the towns need to think through those things when it comes to, just recreational activities for families and for people. Where these bigger cities, Portland, Eugene, Corvallis, different areas all around the United States, when it's nice, they've got great park systems and different things for people to go outside and enjoy the nature of the environment. So when it comes to jobs, there's a lot of jobs. And I would say overall, from what I've seen, I don't have specific statistics, but the major city centers, Astoria, I would say the next one is probably Newport and Coos Bay. Those are going to be the three main areas with great jobs, lots of jobs around. So look in those areas if you're thinking about where, you need to be. And that's it, when it comes to jobs. I'd also say with the more jobs, there's better eating options. There's better service industry options. Those things are important. So, what are the best towns to live in when it comes to eating? I'd say probably Astoria and Newport. Those are the two best, definitely. Why? Because they have the most jobs. They have some of the bigger areas, some of the bigger areas to be at, except for maybe Coos Bay, North Bend. But it's just, you're going to have to go along the Oregon coast to kind of see where you want to be, but each of those areas has options for you. Number 6 on our list is things to do. Depending on what you want to do, most of the time people will come to the coast because they love nature and they want to do things outside. I would just say there's a ton of options. I would say get good at water activities. Okay, so surfing. Some people like to boogie board. Some people like to get on a foil and do something like that. Some people like to fish. Some people like to crab. Some people like to go looking for, maybe you want to go shrimping. That's going to be a little bit more difficult, but you can do that. You could go clam digging. I mean, you could go beach combing. There's so many cool things to do because of the water features. You've got rivers, beautiful rivers up and down the coast. You've got beaches. Find the right beaches. Find my video on the best beaches on the Oregon coast. These are things that you've got to know that you like to do. I mean, if you want to go outside, it's going to be raining. It's going to have a jacket on. Do you like to hike? There's tons of good hiking options. Do you like to go out and to, do Frisbee golf? There's up and down the coast. There's great Frisbee golfing and there's great golfing. There's some of the most prestigious golf courses in the world on the Oregon coast. So these are things that, mountain bike riding's big on the Oregon coast because of the coastal range. There's a lot of different networks of mountain biking on the Oregon coast. Surfing obviously is huge. I already mentioned that, but those are things to do. Obviously depends on where you are at in life, what your family's all about, but there's things to get involved with and things to do, whether it's for families, young families, maybe sporting families, kids coming up, or it's, retirees. Wherever you are on the life spectrum, there's going to be a ton of things for you to do depending on what town and city you decide to move to. And the last thing on our list, the 7 things to know about the Oregon coast, is the weather. Well, I'm just going to tell you, the weather on the Oregon coast, if you don't know, it's normally rainy. Right now it's rainy. Tomorrow it might be sunny. Today it might be sunny. And then it might be rainy again in an hour. Just be prepared for rain. And don't think of rain where you can have an umbrella. Most of the time you're not going to be able to have an umbrella, because when it's raining, it's also windy, and that umbrella is going to get ruined. So instead, invest in a stockpile of hoodies, and also a stockpile of jackets, or you could just have one, whatever you need. But, I've got a closet full of hoodies. I've got maybe 6 to 8 different hoodies and jackets. And I prepare my mind for the gray season of, November through April or March. It's just how it goes. You just get used to it, and then you'll get, these storm systems rolling in 1-2 weeks, tons of rain. I mean, we're getting 80 inches of rain a year. So prepare for that, because all those storm systems come up against the coastal range of the Oregon coast, and you just get dumped on. And it's just how it goes. It doesn't matter where you're at, whether you're in Astoria or Brookings, you're going to get around 80 inches annually of rain. So the other thing, though, is sun. Sometimes just seeing the sun, being in the sun, is important to you. Well, you're going to get about 120 to 125 days of sun in the Astoria seaside area. You're going to get about 160 to 165 days of sun on the central Oregon coast around the Newport, Walport area, Yachats. And then when you get to the southern Oregon coast, you're getting about 190 to 200 days of sun a year. So you're getting almost 2 to 2.5 months more of sun on the southern Oregon coast than you are on the northern Oregon coast. 30 days more of sun from the southern Oregon coast to the central Oregon coast. So those things might take into consideration as well when it comes to weather. The southern Oregon coast has something called the Banana Belt region. That's really Fort Orford or Bandon south. It's just got this great effect of, more of a California summer, I would say. And then obviously Brookings, it's got the Chetco effect, which you can look at my Brookings pros and cons video to learn about the Chetco effect on that one. So those are our 7 things that you definitely need to know about the Oregon coast. If you're moving here, I just want you to know, if you have real estate goals, investment goals, something where you want to get a second home or retirement home on the Oregon coast, or you're just looking to move here and you need boots on the ground, somebody to help you find the property that you desire, don't hesitate. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. Let's connect. Love to help you on your path and your journey to the Oregon coast. My name is Eddie. It was great seeing you today. Make sure that any of your real estate questions are answered. I can help you answer them. Other than that, let's make today the best day ever. Have a great day, folks.